Hello again and welcome to this edition of Inside MSY, coming to you from the all-new world-class Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. My name's Warren Bell. It's my privilege to be your host for this program, and joining me as always, the Director of Aviation for the New Orleans International Airport, the recently named CEO of the Year for 2019, the man who has spent the last year and a half or so answering a whole lot of questions like when is it going to be open, why isn't this working, et cetera, Kevin Dolio, welcome to the show. And this is a special show because unlike the previous shows where we were basically giving a sneak preview, Kevin, now we're here and now we're surrounded by passengers arriving from their prior travels or upstairs getting ready to depart. What's it been like so far? I mean, congratulations, first of all, on the grand opening, but what's it been like now that you're open and running for a couple of months now?
Well, thank you, Warren, and it's true. It's very exciting to now see people moving through the facility that we've spent a lot of time in over the past couple years, and as you mentioned, we gave a sneak peek to everyone, but the building's always been vacant and always been a work in progress. But now it's open, it's finished, people are moving through it. It's a major project, and it could be compared to picking up a small city and moving it to a different location.
Elaborate on that, because I was going to ask you about that line. You know, your folks provided that analogy, and I said, yeah, in a lot of ways, because you've got to answer all the same questions a small city
We
has
provide every service imaginable on an airport property, just a lot more than just what the traveling public sees. Roadways on the airport property are our responsibility to ensure they remain in good shape and minor repairs. We have electricians that maintain electrical needs inside the building, and then heavy electrical on the airfield. Plumbers, accountants, attorneys. It's a very complex operation, and you layer that on top of moving it to a very complex project that was recently completed. Everything changes. Access to your city is different. The roadway system is different in your city. Everyone's learning it, including us, right? So it's a very, very involved, very complex project, a complex operation moving into it, and once you're in, you've completed the project, but now you're learning how to operate inside that facility and around it, right?
And so, you opened in early November,
correct,
which meant you only had a couple of weeks to prepare for one of the busiest times of the year, Thanksgiving period, which also includes Bayou Classic, followed by another one of the busiest times of the year for travelers, and that's Christmas. You've gotten through both of those periods already. Looking back, how'd you say you did? What grade might you give yourself? And looking forward, what has those experiences prepared you for?
Well, we pretty much had our legs under us by the time the Thanksgiving travel season rolled around, and we fared well through that period. TSA wait times were average about 5 minutes, with the longest wait times being in the 15-16 minute range. The concessions program has far outperformed what we expected it to do.
So your vendors are happy?
Vendors are happy. It's been very successful. We hope that trend continues. So it's been good opening the facility, and we've worked through initial kinks. And I might say that I mentioned we were learning how to operate in the facility. So as we go forward, as we've layered different significant components of our operation at different pieces of curbside and different places inside the facility, you can expect over the next several months that we'll be tweaking that as we go along, as we're learning to operate in this facility.
Tweaking never stops.
That's true.
Basically, right?
That's true.
Because you're always trying to serve and serve better. Right now, there are now 15 TSA gates. Am I correct about that?
There's 15 lanes are equipped. And the TSA staffs those lanes according to what capacity is pushing through.
Wow.
And they, to date, I don't believe there's been a period where they've had to go to 15. And those wait times are very good wait times. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been to many cities where it would be nice if I could have gotten through that within 5 or even 15 minutes.
Also, I should mention, when I mentioned hitches earlier, I didn't mention a baggage system.
I was going to
the
get back to
900-pound gorilla in the room,
Yeah.
and we've had two instances where the system was problematic. One 2 days after we opened,
Sure.
And then another about a month later, the day after Christmas.
It's a very complicated system.
It's a very
isn't it?
complex
over
system.
Over 2 miles of conveyor
It's over
belts?
3 miles
Over
of
3
conveyor
miles
belt,
of conveyor
and
belt.
and then there's a lot of computer programming that drives the operation of the system. So it's not just mechanical, and so the issues kind of span programming issues, different ensuring that we're identifying and monitoring different hot spots and merge spots in the system behind the scenes. Parts that maybe in some cases motors burning out or defective parts, and you don't know that till the system's running continually.
Yeah.
So we've worked through those issues. We have the systems operating normally now, but we've kept experts on board to continue monitoring and evaluating the system to ensure that if there's more tweaking needed, more reprogramming needed, that it's all being done in advance of any big hitch in the system again, and that we're well set for the long term with the system.
I've seen some numbers, but I want you to verify how many people have we estimated actually came through for open house?
Well, we wanted to ensure that the community got exposure to the facility before it opened, had the chance to come in and start learning how to move around the facility, and then to assist us with some real live testing of different mechanical systems in the airport. So we held 2 open houses, and about 4,000 people total came through the facility over those 2 open houses, and it was very productive for us, and I think very good for the community to be able to come in and start learning the facility.
We're going to take a look now via our video package at that open house sneak preview with our opening explanation coming from the Director of Communications for the New Orleans Aviation Board, Ms. Erin Burns.
So today we're holding an open house for the public. This is our chance for all of the local community to come and see what we've been doing here at the airport. We want to try to put some stress on the system and get real world people into the building. They came in, they got a test bag, they walked up to a ticket counter, they were printed out a boarding pass and told to go to a particular gate. And once they got to the gate, they were given a survey. We want to get feedback about how the check-in process was, how easy or difficult it may have been to find their gate. And this is going to give us a lot of good, valuable feedback.
While we were out there, we caught up with some of those volunteers and locals who came out to see the all-new MSY for themselves.
I am a frequent traveler, and this is the place that I call home. I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity not only to get familiar with the beautiful place, but also to know what I'm going to be doing the next time I begin to travel. As a volunteer passenger, I've already gotten the opportunity to facilitate the drop-off process, to check a bag, to select a destination, and now I'm off to the concourse to see all that the new airport has to offer.
Very impressive. It's got that new airport smell. No, but I've been following the project. I think it's great for the city. It's exciting.
Looking around, I like it. It is nice. It's got a lot more features than the old airport did. I do like the one security gate that gets you in and you get to everything. I do like how they kept Leah Chase's place. I see that they have Chili's, which is new. They incorporated a Chick-fil-A. Have a lot of new stuff, you know, versus just your old like little sandwiches and delis, which is good.
We also encountered a video crew for our city's Convention and Visitors Bureau, creating their own campaign to spread the word about New Orleans' world-class airport.
There's never been an opportunity to celebrate and to share the terminal with our customers. We book conventions and meetings, and the airport arrival, the departure is so important, and it is beautiful, and we didn't want to miss the chance to just create a little snapshot of us in the building and then send it to our customers instead of just saying, come and see us in New Orleans. Come and see us in New Orleans. There's no better time. It's beautiful, and it is.
Thanks to everyone who helped us put that package together for the open house sneak preview stuff. Kevin, y'all got more out of that than you gave in terms of preparation for what was about to happen, right?
That's true, because it's people physically moving around the facility. They were assigned to find the location of different things in the airport. They were checking bags. They were using the signage to drive up and park in different facilities. So you get a lot from that, as opposed to with us. We've been seeing it day in, day out, right? So we know our way around, and
you take things for granted that the first time visitor might not.
Right. And if I may, I want to speak to two things.
Yes,
two
sir.
services we've introduced as we've moved into the new facility. As you know, with our parking operations, we've increased the capacity in parking here by adding the new facilities here and maintaining the old long-term garage on the other side of the airport, converted it to economy parking. $12 a day for that facility. So you're in a covered garage, $12 a day, and we added a baggage check and check-in process in that garage free of charge. So you can pull in bottom level. There's a curbside check-in position built into the garage now. You pull up to it, SkyCap takes your bag, checks it, issues your boarding pass, and then you park. And you board the shuttle free of bags. You're not lugging bags up and down the stairs of a shuttle bus. Transit on the shuttle bus over to the North Terminal, and once you're inside that terminal, you're already checked in.
Now let's talk about those guest passes.
Now the guest passes. As we were developing and constructing the facility and moving around the community, speaking to what was coming, it became quite evident that the community was very interested and having the ability to go out and see and experience what we constructed here. So we had that in mind as we were completing the project, and learned that 4 other airports in the country had a program where they allowed guests through the security checkpoint to go out and experience the restaurants and other offerings on the concourses, and to see loved ones off. So we worked with the TSA, developed the program, got their approval, and rolled it out, I think, a week after we opened the new facility, and folks have taken to it. People can come out. You book 24 hours in advance of the day you want to come out and access the airside facilities. So your name's there, the day of your reservation. You come out, check in with our folks at the customer service counter and on the lower level here. You're issued a pass, and you process through the security checkpoint. You have access to everything airside.
And I have a question. Who's using it? Are these people coming out to have a meal with a family member or friend leaving the city, or are there people actually making a date night out of this?
You would expect that it would be more people seeing loved ones off. And you get that in the program, and it's intended to accommodate that, but we're getting more folks coming out to utilize the facilities. I had a call from a good friend a couple weeks ago that says, Kevin, I've booked X date. I'm taking my wife out to the airport. We're going to have dinner. What restaurant would you recommend? And it was crazy. It was like recommending a restaurant in the city, right?
Wow.
And what restaurant would you recommend? And I think they came out and took advantage of 2 or 3 locations in the airport, topped it off with dinner, and then left. So you're getting date night out here as well.
When we come back, we'll be bringing you via some video highlights to that big ribbon cutting for this fantastic airport inside MSY. Comes back in just a few.
Travelers rely on devices more than ever these days, so it's important to have ample places to recharge while traveling. In the new MSY, convenient charging ports are now available in 50% of the seats in the gate areas, so it's easy to find a place to hook up your phone and power up while you wait for your flight.
Welcome back to Inside MSY, right here at the Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. I'm Warren Bell, your host, along with the Director of Aviation for MSY, Mr. Kevin Dolio. And Kevin, you've been here a few months now, and we know it's a fabulous facility in terms of its role as the gateway for our travelers to and from South Louisiana. But there's more to it than that. This was always billed and sold as a major economic development piece as well, not just for the city, but for the region. If you could help us understand that better.
That's true, and airports in their community, airports are economic drivers. Okay, so we really push the economy and what we create at the airport. This airport, at an economic impact study conducted by Dr. Tim Ryan in 2014, which reflected that in 2013, the airport was responsible for 53,000 jobs and about a $5.3 billion impact on the economy. It also projected that by 2023, we would be responsible for 64,000 jobs and a $6.4 billion impact on the economy. So airports really are drivers of the economy where they exist. Now, just to bring that down from that large macro arena, we get to what this move has created more specifically on maybe a smaller scale. The concessions program in the old terminal, in the south terminal, created just better than 300 jobs. The concessions program in the new north terminal is responsible for just about 1,000 jobs. So that's a 600-something job expansion.
That's the impact
growth,
just here on site.
Just the impact here on site. So, you know, and our reach is much broader than that, but that's just a good example of what this new facility generates in terms of increased jobs at the airport and for ancillary operations as well.
And it's one of the things that so many speakers brought up during the ribbon cutting ceremonies, not just speakers from Orleans Parish, but from the surrounding parishes, because they always have understood that this airport might be the property of the city of New Orleans, but its impact is positive for everyone living in this Southeast Louisiana region. And, you know, we've been talking about the ribbon cutting since we started the program, but we have yet to share those highlights. Here, finally, folks, are some highlights from that very important day in November when New Orleans said welcome to its brand new world-class airport.
Thank you all. What a beautiful day, a great day to be here to celebrate the grand opening of this airport. The economic impact of Louisiana's airports continue to grow. Today we celebrate a facility that is ready to meet that growth for many years to come.
We have a world-class airport. And you know we have a world-class city. But even more importantly, it is what she deserves. And it's also what the residents of the city of New Orleans deserves as well. So thank you all to all of our partners, local, state, federal, everyone who leaned in to make this possible. And it will absolutely be an economic and a cultural driver for generations to come.
For a person who lives in the airport, literally, once a week I'm flying out, once a week I'm flying home, this is a true blessing. And the governor mentioned that the airport is the first thing that people see. But more importantly, it's the last experience they have of New Orleans before they go back home.
The only way something like this happens, the only way that New Orleans becomes an emblem for the rest of the world, is to show people what you can produce when you work together. This thing was generated by the city of New Orleans, but as you know, we're in Jefferson Parish and we're in Kenner, and it can't happen without the partnership of all of the people that worked on this.
This is a remarkable building. It is a masterpiece of architecture. And I hope everyone notices how the culture of New Orleans is weaved throughout this airport, you know, in terms of its architecture, in terms of the art, in terms of the food. It is all throughout this airport.
1, 2, 3, Louis Armstrong! All right!
It surpasses really all of our hopes. This is a terminal which I think is as elegant as any in America, maybe the world right now. And the significance for us in economic development is twofold. One, it projects the brand of New Orleans being a world-class city and region, but also what wasn't mentioned today is that it's going to be more cost efficient to run than the old terminal. That's going to allow us to drive down the cost per passenger, and that's going to allow us to get even more flight connectivity. And at the end of the day, that flight connectivity is what's so critical to us in economic development. So this is an enormously significant event for us, and we're just thrilled to be part of it.
I'm excited. We're all excited. I mean, this is a dream come true, not just for our board, but for the whole region. And it's going to change the way people travel for generations to come. And I think we're all honored to have been part of the project and to see it actually happen, to see plans turn into reality is quite simply amazing.
And we're not done yet, folks. Coming up on Inside MSY, an update on non-stop flights here at MSY.
When it comes to restrooms, you won't have to look far because MSY has twice as many stalls in the new terminal. The stalls are also larger, so there's plenty of space for your luggage. Plus, you'll see changing tables in both the women's and men's restrooms. Available on each concourse are comfortable mother's nursing rooms for traveling moms.
And welcome back to Inside MSY. I'm your host, Warren Bell, along with Aviation Director Kevin Doliol. We're in a slightly different configuration because we have a very special guest to introduce from your team, right, Kevin?
I've been the CEO of 3 different airports in major cities, and I've worked with air service development people before. And every now and then, you run across a person that does a job and does it in an exceptional manner. So this is Christy Bennett Holmes, our Deputy Director for Commercial Development. Outside of air service development, she will also head or lead the effort to redevelop the south side of the airport as we've shifted our operations here to the north side. But Christy's very good at what she does. She's had a lot of success. We brought in new air service over the past few years, and she's here to give us an update on what's happening in the air service arena.
How about that as the first question, Christy? First of all, did he describe your duties right?
He did, and fortunately we have great leadership that supports those efforts to grow that air service. And I'm very proud to share we've had continued success over the last several months with new air service among both domestic and international flights, as well as both existing and new airlines. And so we had Frontier Airlines launch new service to Cincinnati, Ohio, with twice weekly service. And then we also had American Airlines launch new service, daily service, to Phoenix, the last remaining hub unserved from this market. So very fortunate to have those existing airlines continue to grow. And then our newest international airline, Air Transat, started service to Montreal, Canada. So our newest international airline and our newest international destination, we're thrilled to have them. And before they even started service, they announced they were expanding seasonal service to year-round service twice weekly. Huge in the sense of the bookings and the forward bookings that they saw, the demand that they saw to continue and to expand that service, obviously.
Help us understand what it takes to get new service. It's not just, oh, we think we're going to start service, new service to this city or that city. The airlines are a major player in those decisions, right?
Oh, the airlines make those decisions.
Exactly.
we tried to do our best to convince them
exactly.
that MSY is the next best opportunity for them to make that multi-million-dollar commitment with placing that aircraft in this market. And so the airline business is very different in the sense of any other business. It's not brick and mortar. They can easily move those airplanes somewhere else around the world. And so that's what we're competing with, other markets around the world. We try to build that business case to show the airlines how our market's performing, how we're continuing to grow, the business, the tourism, it all works together to fill the seats in both the front of the aircraft and the back of the aircraft. And I will say that for a market this size, or a medium hub airport as classified by the FAA, for a market this size, international is the hardest recruitment effort that we have. And I'm so proud to share that we now have 8 nonstop international destinations, and Condor being the most recent to announce they're returning for summer 2020 this year.
Awesome.
And so that service will be offered twice weekly from May through September. Additionally, British Airways will be offering or starting their 6th weekly flight in March of this year. We also have Vacation Express returning with Cancun, Punta Cana, and Montego Bay service this summer. We also even have existing airlines among Delta, United, and Southwest serving Cancun, Mexico this year on Saturday frequencies. And so there's a wide variety.
For those of us who do not love cruises, right?
Exactly.
An alternate.
Exactly.
Sure.
If you want to get there and start your vacation instead of cruising to it, you have those options here at MSY.
We're ready for whatever this wonderful young lady can deliver. And if you need anyone to do a sample flight to try a new destination, I'll be happy to help you with that.
You got it. Thank you.
And we'll be happy to bring you back to Inside MSY right after this break.
Better for the environment and better for you. The new MSY has water bottle refilling stations conveniently located on each concourse. Bring your reusable water bottle with you through security and fill up once you're through. The new MSY has 4 different parking options with over 8,000 total parking spaces. Passengers can choose from long-term, short-term, and surface lot parking adjacent to the new terminal, or economy with optimized shuttle service to and from the new terminal.
Welcome back once more to Inside MSY. I'm Warren Bell with New Orleans Aviation Director Kevin Doliol. And Kevin, any final thoughts before we wrap up this half hour?
Yes, I'd just like to reiterate how important this move was for the people of this region. And of course, as going forward, we'll continue working to improve the current operation. We'll also soon initiate a master plan, which will give us a look 20 years out for this airport and needs we'll have over the next 20 years so we can be proactive, ahead of the game, and ensuring that we're developing facilities going forward to meet the demands of this region.
And that kind of stuff really never stops, does it?
Absolutely true.
Because as you are prepared right now for the next few years of anticipated growth, 20 years from now is certainly another story.
As long as this is a strong market and growing, which this region is.
Sure seems to be.
There'll be continued needs going forward.
Again, my thanks, Kevin, my sidekick here for Inside MSY. And don't forget, folks, if you'd like to stay in touch all the time on news and happenings out here at the New Orleans International Airport, visit flymsy.com, sign up for their e-newsletter, and you'll be hooked up, folks. I'm Warren Bell with Kevin Doliol. We'll see you next time on Inside MSY.